Well, you wanted it, so here it is. It's time for an update. I'm kidding. I'm not doing an intro anytime soon. Alright, so as you can see, I'm back from the Terraristika, which is the self-proclaimed largest exotic animal convention in the world, and I did get quite the haul. Actually, I didn't even get everything. The rest is just food though. But before we get to that, let's go over what actually changed with the animals I already had. And I guess let's start with the bad news. So, there were a few unexpected deaths, sadly. And one or two expected ones, I'll be honest. But let's start with the ones that hurt me the most first. One of the two Poecilotheria metallica slings that I had simply died for no apparent reason that I can at least think of. Now, that one was always a little bit smaller and weaker than the other one, and I was sort of worried for it, but it was eating well until it molted about 2 weeks ago and then refused food. It did drink, but then one day I simply found it curled up and dead. About 9 days after the mold. I have no idea what happened. That one was a bit smaller and slower growing than the other one. And when I got it, it was missing a pedipalp, which at that size usually isn't that big of a deal. But it didn't do as well as the other one. But I was hoping it would start doing better the larger it got, but apparently not. Still have no idea what really happened with that one. The other one is doing completely fine, molted of course, and is gaining quite a lot of size between molds, and it's now starting to turn blue already. So yeah, no idea what happened with the second one. Then this one, that one I expected, like the death of this Chromatopelma cyaneopubescens. I got two of these at the same time, at the same size, and this one didn't even mold once since spring, didn't eat basically anything, and then just one day just curled up and died. I still haven't removed the little box because that happened just 2 days ago, and I didn't get to it yet. The other one is, again, completely fine, molted, and is eating like a machine, but this one's simply like the complete opposite, just a weak spider. I have no idea what's wrong with this one either, or what was wrong with that one. So another two sort of unexpected deaths over here with the Theopompa cervillae. Luckily, I guess, both of them were males, so now I have two females and two males left, which are doing completely fine. But the two males that died, one of them was always a lot smaller than the other ones, not eating well, so I was sort of expecting this one to die as well. This just happens sometimes with mantids, where you get ones that are just not born to survive. The other one, though, was doing completely fine until one day the abdomen started sort of hanging down instead of, straight like this. Instead of, they usually carry it straight like this, but with that one it started hanging down, and then a few days later I found it dead, even though it was actually eating. So again, no idea what happened with that one. The others in the exactly same conditions are completely fine. And I do have my first adult female here. And these are a lot larger than I expected. So I sort of had to improvise with their boxes a bit, as you can see. And they are in these sterile boxes because one day I found mites in one of them. So right now I'm keeping them sterile for a few weeks until I move them back into something nicely decorated. And then the last bit of bad news. You will remember I had 5 Sibylla pretiosa in here. Three of them turned out to be female, 2 males. One male got eaten straight away just a few days after I filmed that video, so I separated males and females. And then the other male, which was then separated, of course got to adulthood, and the females too. Let's see if I can find one. Oh, right there. They're pretty well camouflaged actually. Well, I let him mate with the females, and really sorry for this dirty glass here, but I can't actually take this off because they put egg cases on the front here too, and I can't open this further than a few centimeters. But the male that I had, the one that was left, did manage to mate with all 3 females before getting eaten, so this one was sort of expected as well, and I'm not actually mad about that one. So I guess let's get to the good news. Basically everything has molted. And of course here these ones have started building egg cases. And I'm counting a lot of them. No, that's a fly. There's 2, 3 there. And then there's one right there. And I'm counting about 14 or 15. But I have no idea how many there actually are. Hopefully these will be hatching in the next few days. If they hatch before I upload this video, I'll even include some footage of the babies. The Metalyticus violaceus have also been busy, and they've produced the first ooth as well, and maybe we can even see it from over here. Okay, no, we can't. But there's the first ooth in there, and I'm expecting a lot more. So this should hopefully be successful too in a few weeks. Good mantis news. Well, the Metalyticus splendidus, the ones that I still have are growing very nicely. Most of them I sold now. The Hania olovi, these tiny moss mantis, they're all adult, they reproduce, there's Uthicas in there as well. And the first one hatched with 4 of the tiny little buggers, and man, I thought the Metalyticus babies were small, but these take the cake. 1 or 2 springtails and they're completely done eating. They are extremely tiny. I'll try to show you in a bit of extra video. The Heteropoda boii slings, I sold almost all of them. These are the ones that I've got left. There's 18 of them. Ignore the text on the little vials. I'm thinking I'll sell all of those as well. I'm probably not gonna keep any if I can get rid of these. And then the Heterocheta orientalis finally produced their first Uthica. It's the brown turd looking thing back there. But that one's just a few days old now, so it will be a while before that one hatches. And you might remember with the Idolomantis, both of my females fell down while molting. And I'm trying again, this time with 4 of them again, 2 males, 2 females. But this time I'll be a lot more careful and separate them out before they start molting. Which you can start seeing at this size pretty easily when they're gonna molt within 1 or 2 days. So I'll take them out for them to molt in peace, so the others don't disturb them, and then put them back together. Now there's 3 in here, 2 males and 1 female, and I've got 1 more, which is in this separate box over here because she's a lot smaller. So I'm keeping her separate until she's caught up in size because, yeah, they tend to be quite cannibalistic actually. As for the other animals, like I said, basically everything has molted from my big Poecilotheria to, of course, all the tiny slings have molted, some even twice. So I had to rehouse a lot of them. You'll know the Linothele. I showed that on video. So that's the first one that I rehoused, and you can see how dense the net is now after a few weeks. And the second one got rehoused as well, and her net is not quite as dense yet. The Lampropelma violaceopus is getting quite big and is now in a separate box, and my Psalmopus eminia also. And she's out all the time, and yes, there's a serious problem with these fungus nets in there. I'll have to find some way to get rid of them permanently because this is getting out of hand. Now I do have a way to get rid of them temporarily, and that's over here. I've got this carnivorous plant over here that's catching them by the dozens. But in the boxes themselves, they still are quite abundant. I've got none flying right outside of the boxes, at least not many. But in there, this is probably really annoying for the spider. So I hope to do something about these. I'll have to look something up. The Heteroscodra maculata has her own terrarium now, right next to where the Phoedippus regius female was. This is where the male used to be in. So she sort of ignored this cork tube thing that I built her and instead is sitting right back there. But as she grows, she will hopefully take to that. She can stay in there for quite a while. This is a bit oversized for her, but she's finding her food, so everything's well. The Davus pentaloris, or Cyclosternum fasciatum, if you prefer that name, which is wrong, have also been rehoused, and again, these boxes are quite oversized for them, but they're growing so quickly, I kind of want something where they can stay in for a while. The Heteropoda boyae female is back in her terrarium after I fished all of the babies out of there, which was a lot of fun, trust me. That was a good few hours I spent in the bathroom, because you can't do this anywhere else, they're way too fast. Then both of the Grammostola pulchra slings have also molted again, and they're in these much bigger boxes now. And I still think this isn't actually that slow growing of a species. They seem to be growing at a quite normal pace. They've molted 3 times in 6 months, so I don't think that's very slow for this size. Alright, then new animals. Now this one is one I didn't get in Hamm. I actually got this one a few weeks ago already. This is male Heterometrus petersi, one of the giant Asian forest scorpions. This one doesn't get quite as large as the largest ones, but has a very nice blue shimmer under UV light or under sunlight. I'll try to include some footage of him, but very rarely comes out. I've seen him maybe twice since I got him, and also doesn't eat all that much actually, so I can't even really get feeding footage for you, sorry. So you'll have to just stare at this dirt box. So here's 2 more spiders that I didn't actually get in Hamm either. I got these also about 2 weeks ago or so, and that is one Cyriopagopus species Hatti Hatti. And I'll be honest with you, initially I got this one because of the name. I just thought the name was funny, but when I got it, I of course looked up how to care for it, and also looked up pictures of the adults, and wow, really like this one. And then I also got, while we're at Cyriopagopus, I got one Cyriopagopus lividum, which is of course also probably better known under the old name of Haplopelma lividum, so the cobalt blue tarantula. This is just a tiny baby. Take a long time before this one grows up. I'll try to show you footage of these, but they're very shy, and I really don't think I can get any, especially at this size. And again, the boxes are quite oversized, but they find their food well. They always construct their little tunnels in the corners here. So the feeders also just run around the corners and they get them. So that's no problem. And keeping substrate like this moist is way easier than keeping a very small little vial moist. Alright then, finally the ones that I got today. Let's start with the only non-spider that I got, and that is a Scolopendra hainanum. Not a very common species, very pretty in my opinion. Pretty hard to show, but slightly green tint to the body with orange and black striped legs. This is a medium-sized wild-caught animal. Okay, then the spiders that I got. Let's start with the tiny slings, because there's not much to see with them yet. I've got 2 Chilobrachys electric blue, and they are neither electric nor blue at the moment. They are simply very small brown spiders. I can't even see anything in here. Let's see if the other ones may be out. Okay, yeah, so I guess that's more realistic. That's what I'll be seeing for the next few months too. So No pretty shots of these ones. Then I've got two Harpactira pulchripes for really, really cheap. I don't want to say prices here, but for this size, for two of them, I got really, really lucky. And you can already sort of start guessing at the color of the adults. They already have this slight blue tint there on the end of their legs. And then I also got not one, not two, no, three Poecilotheria rufilata. I simply had to get one after seeing one of them in Tom Moran's video a few weeks back, and really they're absolutely stunning spiders. I actually wanted to get a juvenile female, but I don't know why, but these are really rare over here apparently. So I didn't find one, but I did find these unsexed, rather large slings actually. And now let's hope this doesn't go wrong. Okay, over there in the corner. You can see this is pretty decent size. So I got three of these for very, very cheap. And I guess next mold I'm gonna try to sex them. I've got access to a pretty good microscope at the university, so I'll try to sex the molds, and then if I get any males, I'll probably sell them off, because I don't actually have the room for these. At least not for three of them. I've got the room for one adult, of course. And then lastly, this one I'm probably most excited about. Brachypelma albiceps. Again, got a really good deal on that one. And just beautiful juvenile female. And I think this is one of the prettiest spiders, period. But in my opinion, definitely the prettiest Brachypelma. So yeah, I'm really excited about this one actually. Let me get some more light on this one. Honestly, she deserves it. Now, isn't that just an absolutely stunning spider? Wow. So I still have to put all of these into their proper enclosures, and I did film it, but I sort of screwed up and forgot to turn on my microphone. So I'll have to comment on this in post, which is not as exciting as being right there with the original audio, sorry. So, first up, the easiest one, the Brachypelma albiceps. And as you can see, she was pretty unwilling to move at all out of her little box there. So I'm probably just gonna speed this up because this took a while. And then with some gentle prodding, I finally convinced her to move over into her box right there. So that was the easiest one. Now the very small slings, which can be fast. Don't underestimate them. First, the two Harpactira pulchripes slings, and this is what I did for them. Lots of ventilation, as you can see, and quite high substrate in there. Also quite dry, bit of moisture in the bottom. And to keep it moist in the bottom, you can dig sort of a little bit in one corner and then pour water down there so it stays moist in the bottom and a bit drier at the top. And then just some sticks for them to attach webbing to if they want to. So here's the first one. I'm gently, very gently trying to get the sling out of there, but goes out and then decides, oh no, that's not for me, and then runs back in. And now for a second time. And I think the third time it actually worked, and it just jumped down right there. Okay, so that was pretty easy. And then I did get out my macro lens to get a bit of a closer shot. And you can see the tips of the legs, while they're not blue yet, they are a different color, so sort of indicating how it's gonna look like when it's adult. Which is pretty neat, I think, at this size. And then that's it in there. Probably gonna start webbing up pretty soon and digging in one of the corners. Alright, so the second one, again in here. This one's slightly larger than the other one, I think. I'm not actually sure. But same technique. Just holding the opening over the new enclosure and then gently prodding it on the butt to go out, and it jumped down, and that's it. Very easy. Then next up, both of the Chilobrachis electric blue slings. Now these want quite a bit of moisture, and as you can see, even deeper substrate, because these are fossorial spiders, especially as slings. They will dig a lot and very intricate tunnel systems, and I did wet this down. I'm not gonna keep it this wet, but just for the beginning, I did wet everything a little bit down. And then I put a piece of bark in the corner like this, and they usually start their tunnels right there behind there. So that's sort of how I control where the spider goes. Like this, I can usually still watch them for a bit until their tunnels get way too deep. So the first one, and I'm sort of searching in here because they of course build tunnels in these little vials too, and both of them were sitting at the very bottom, so I did some digging until finally I found the spider, even smaller than the Hapagdira pulchripes, these two. And of course absolutely no sign of the adult coloration yet, and then it just ran straight out the vial and to the bottom, which makes it easy for me. So I just very gently put this down and give it a little poke, and there it is. And then it ran out again. I think at this moment I said, hey, that was easy, until the spider just ran out like this, but gentle prod from the other side and it runs straight back in. And then the second one, again, completely dug up and webbed up everything in there. Hopefully it's gonna do that in the big one as well. Did some digging here too, until I finally found the spider in the very bottom. And then I did get the other light out, so you can see it a bit better here for a second. And again, this one was very easy, and sorry, I kind of forgot to focus here. Okay, I did actually correct it. And there we go. Close that one too, and done with the small ones. Now, the Poecilotherias, which have at least the potential to be a lot worse than these small ones when rehousing them. Especially the Rufilatas are apparently very flighty and sort of nervous. So that is how I set them up for right now. Not quite as moist, but the substrate is slightly moist, and as you can see, sloped in the back. That way, if they want to dig, and especially juveniles seem to actually dig quite a bit, they've got more room to dig, and then in the front here, a lot more room to just hang out and wander around with the substrate a lot less deep. So, first one. Alright, so spider is right there, actually pretty well camouflaged against the dirt. And again, if you're looking for like rehousing advice for fast and venomous animals, don't look at this channel. I'm not doing this very professionally. As you can see, I just put the entire thing in there and then I poke the spider until it runs out. But these weren't as nervous as I was expecting, so none of them really bolted and got panicky very quickly. So just a little bit of prodding here and positioning, and as you can see, neither aggressive nor really very skittish at all. Just sort of curls up. Might be the stress from the transport earlier, because I did drive about an hour to the convention. And then it just slowly walks into the cork tube. No problem at all. So, first one done, 2 more to go. And here's the setup for the second one, same thing. And then there's the box, and there's the spider. Again, sort of just annoying the spider out of there. And run straight over. I take the box out. And then I got a little bit of a shot here of the spider. They're very pretty at this size. And done. Easy. This one was a bit more complicated because I couldn't quite put the little transport box in there like I wanted. And then below there's a spider. Now this one was a little bit more nervous than the others, but still no threat postures or anything, but did sort of react a lot quicker than the other ones. But also just ran out like this, and then it sat on the, or rather it sat below the box. So this is the point where I don't use my fingers anymore. I did get my tongs out here. And yep, and it ran straight into the cork tube. And then I accidentally dropped the box there and put dirt everywhere, which was great. But the spider is safe in that little cork tube there. And yeah, I'll get a light out here to show you. It's down there. So yeah, I might be unprofessional, but I'm not stupid. I do have tongs and several pairs and catch cups and so on. It's all ready, just out of the frame. And then the one that you have probably all been waiting for, the centipede. Now this one gets a much larger box, of course, and even though it's a big box, this one is still sort of small for a centipede actually. And you can see here, substrate about half as deep as the centipede is long. That's the minimum. Bit of a thick cork branch here for climbing. Just bark back there also for climbing. And then this flat piece of bark here. This is what it's gonna use as a hide, because they don't want something like a cave like a tarantula. They want something flat to squeeze under. And you can see it's very, very wet in there. And in this one, I'm actually also gonna keep it this moist. Centipedes need a lot of moisture and probably a lot more than people expect if they've only kept tarantulas. So here I'm carefully opening the box and trying to keep the centipede calm, because once they panic, they can go really quickly, but if they don't panic, they're actually not that bad. I think that their reputation as being super aggressive is also pretty undeserved, actually. So there's the animal. Absolutely beautiful, in my opinion. And still sort of calm. So first I tried prodding it out of the box, but it just wanted to go down and probably burrow. So instead I take the paper here and just lift the entire thing out and put the centipede on the branch here. And it still hasn't panicked. Just sort of calmly looking around for a place to go. And that's it. That's all there is to it. That really wasn't very complicated or nerve-wracking. And then here I was sort of worried it might just go over and out of the box. Which is why you always have two pairs of tongues when working with centipedes, because you would have to use the first one for it to walk onto, then put it back. And if the centipede decides to run up, you have to drop them, because you can't shake it off. They hold on way too quickly. And you can see here, the first thing the centipede actually doing, instead of escaping, is it started to drink. Which means it probably wasn't moist enough in that box where it was in. And it sort of dehydrated. And they dehydrate very, very quickly. So here it's just drinking. And another thing that I noticed while taking it out, it's way too thin. This is what a really hungry, underfed centipede looks like. You can see from the side. They've got this bottom plate and the top plate, and there's a skin between called the pleural skin. And that is really, really flat in this one. There's almost no distance. There's just basically the distance between the two plates is how thick the leg is. But there should be a bit more like girth to a centipede. So I did feed this one straight away. Which is what you're seeing here. And sorry, I sort of fucked up and it wasn't in the frame very well. I just gave it a cricket here. Nothing spectacular to see there. Just sort of calmly grabbed it. And then started eating straight away. Which is really a sign that this centipede was really, really hungry when I got it. Because after the stress of transport and rehousing, for it to grab a cricket like this right away, yeah, it had to be pretty hungry. And I fed it 3 more crickets that day, so 4 big crickets, and it took all of them, like the same night. So yeah, I'm gonna have to try to get it a bit fatter over the next few days and weeks. Probably gonna give it something like 10 or 12 crickets over the next week. So right, that was it for the new animals I got and stuff that's been happening. I'm working on a much more extensive video, actually 2 of them, about the 2 topics that I actually know stuff about, which is centipedes and praying mantis. And we'll see which one comes out first. But no promises. These are a bit more complicated than anything that I've done so far, because I really want to get a lot of good footage and also a lot of information into these that you don't usually find in other videos or even online. Searching for them can be quite a pain, so I just sort of want to make a video where everything is in one video that you can go back to and watch. Alright, thank you for watching and see you next time. Oh man, I almost forgot to show you the most important part. Oh shit. Oh no, my label maker ran out.